What's going on, guys? Chuck here with another awesome Blu-ray purchase. Today I have a new release from Vinegar Syndrome, and it's for an early 80s horror film, one that I had heard of, but I had never seen up until just now, or, not just now, but a day or two ago after I got the release. And that is from 1981, The Nesting. Interestingly enough, when, hearing of this film, hearing the title, it puts a certain image in your head, at least it did in mine. I hear something like The Nesting, and I'm thinking this is going to be some kind of like creature feature. This place somewhere is infested with some of this nest of maybe bugs, insects, something that's basically taking over town. That's what I get the impression of. That is not what this film is. Not in the slightest. And I guess if I had rewatched the trailer, I've seen the trailer some time back. I have it on one of the compilations, or probably a few compilations, but that's not what it tells you it's about at all. Essentially, Nesting is a haunted house film, more or less. And also, The Nesting is not even its original title. Its original title was Phobia, and actually, when you watch this presentation, that's the title that it plays under, is Phobia. And I guess there's a whole story behind that. But like I said, this is one. It's the title just stuck to me as one of these, seldom heard about, horror films from the early '80s. It's seldom known, but I feel like known enough that its presence is known, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So I figured, this is a 4K restoration. This is a great chance for me to check it out. And, in a sense, I blind bought. And as is the case, which I'm very lucky, with Vinegar Syndrome, I have yet to be let down with a blind buy from them, because I really enjoy this. This is a nice, not a slow pace. It moves pretty good, but it's a slow kind of, it's a haunted house film. Like I said, basically you have your main character, whose name I do not remember right now, and I do apologize. But she's a writer, but she's also agoraphobic, which, for those of you not, I'm hoping I pronounced that right too. She has a problem with the outdoors. She has trouble leaving her house. I'm gonna put this down. She's suffering from writer block, but she's seeing a therapist. She has trouble remembering her dreams, all these different things. Hence, I guess, why the original title was called Phobia. She goes, finally makes it out to like the outer country, wherever, with her boyfriend, and she comes across this house, which is basically her set piece of the whole film. And it's a really nice kind of octagonal shaped house. It's very old, and it's an actual house she's kind of familiar with, but she doesn't know why. It's been on the cover of her books, which actually, interesting enough, a bit the way they show her novels being in the film, and it's called The Nesting. So I guess that's where they stole the title from, because the Nesting really makes no sense as a title. But I'll get to that in a little bit. But that's, this image of this house on the cover of her novels, and she feels kind of a kinship with the house, if you will. She wants to stay there, and it's a good place maybe her to re-energize her writing passion and cure her writer's block. And trying to solve whatever issue she's having. While there, she's having, visions, other kind of supernatural things. She has a caretaker who just doesn't care for her. The owner, she's basically the owner's grandson. And of course, the owner's played by John Carradine, very old John Carradine. I don't know how much, this is 1981, so I don't know how much longer John Carradine was with us at this point, but he's doing the great John Carradine thing with the loud boasting monologue. And but again, basically the house holds a secret that is tied to our main character, whose name I'm going to look up right now because I can't remember if I have it here. And I'm sure, but I can't look at it because the writing's too small. But like I said, the house has ties to her in some ways or another, and it's all uncovered through her stay. And that's what I want to say if you've never seen Nesting. What I like about the film Again, I really enjoy these late 70s, early 80s horror films. They've got a particular look about them that I've always liked. And this one has a nice, I feel like a very kind of a creepy atmosphere. Again, the house is a character in itself. This is how it look and feel, everything around it. I just like it. It's got that, that kind of a slow burn, but you're unsolving a mystery, or trying to solve a mystery, excuse me, of what's going on with her character. But I really don't have the words. I'm sorry. I wish I was more, I could say more. Like I said, it's really like that look of 70s, 80s horror films really appeal to me. Something about them it's almost like a comfort to me. You've got a couple good gore scares. Not a whole lot. It's not so much a gore film like that, but there's a couple good, sinister scenes, particularly with a sickle. But mainly you're just dealing with your main character and her trauma, her phobia, and just trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. As far as the overall of the film, I enjoyed it. I really did. I think it's a nice, good slow burn. It's an interesting, it's from that time period. It's nice. It's different from your typical slasher. Which is not. It's something out of the ordinary. It's a nice haunted house story, which you don't get too many of, or at least I don't think you were getting too many of that I'm aware of around that time, because everything was turning towards slashers. And this is, again, it's some good acting. It's interesting. The director of this had got his career, doing adult features prior to this, which is kind of why it deals in how this was able to, get a nice release from Vinegar Syndrome, as it's actually, I think it was at the Strip Picks, which is like one of the partner labels, also works with their sister site, Metal Scene, which handles all their adult stuff. They were the owners of the rights to this, and they had all, the negatives, all kinds of, which is a great little documentary on here I'll get to in a minute. About also it has, so, but it's interesting that this has this little bit of a, background. The acting is really good. It's a fun little movie. I mean, it's nothing too, I'm not gonna say it's overly memorable or like that, but it's a fun watch. I think it's enjoyable. I think you get a kick out of it with some really good performances. As far as the 4K itself goes, I saw no problems with it. Everything looked crisp and clean for a 1981 film. Nothing. I mean, again, it's Vinegar Syndrome. They did their own restoration. That's completely from the negative. It looks great. The sound is basically the original, I think, mono sound. It sounded really good. It was crisp. It was crisp, clean. Overall, I have no problems with it. I think it looked great. I got nothing to compare it to. I've never seen it before, but it looked and sounded good. It's the best I can tell you. So here's the slip cover. I cannot speak tonight. I do apologize. Which came in this limited. Here's the back. Kind of, talk about the sickle scene and, a foreshadowing of some of the, mystery of the house. And this is like the image that I'm familiar with, having seen, like, I'm not sure if I saw the VHS. I'm pretty sure I probably did see the VHS in a Blockbuster or some, video store somewhere. But I'm just familiar with the title, The Nesting. Again, originally this was titled Phobia. Apparently they were being sued by another film company or production studio. Another film was one to use title Phobia. So they had to not use it, and they went with The Nesting. I think this also has other titles, some other releases, but The Nesting is the one it's most popular with. But again, Phobia was the original title release, and that's what you're seeing when you watch the film on here, is the Phobia main title. It's your back, all your special features. Inside we've got Blu-ray, 4K. Reverse is this image right here. And you've got, looking, there's La Mansion. And you're just make sure there is some brief nudity. It kind of plays into I want to make sure they don't stick it out here, but let's get it right up on the movie. And there's a kind of a tense scene on the top of this house, which this house is really, really striking. Here's a better image of it that they're using. And it has apparently an interesting history, too. They talk about it in some of the interviews. But, so there's the book again. And let's take a look at what's on here as far as special features go. Let's see. This contains a 110-minute feature presentation of the nesting in its original Phobia cut, presented in Dolby Vision HDR and newly restored from a 35mm original camera negative with the following sound options. You have the original English language mono soundtrack and a commentary with the writer and critic Andy Marshall Roberts. On the Blu-ray, it has all that stuff also, but all your special features are on the Blu-ray. Let's see. Acting is Being Brave. An interview with actress Robin Groves. The Outlaw Poet, an interview with actor Michael David Lally. Low Budget Miracle, an interview with associate producer, production manager Don Walters. The Sating of Desire, The Sating of Desire, go. An interview with Nightmare USA author Stephen Thrower. And I'm starting to see a lot more of Stephen Thrower interviews, which I first was familiar with him watching that Video Nasties documentary. And I actually get fully fascinated. He's got a really good... He's so knowledgeable about a lot of these kind of films. I actually have a coffee table book of his, Nightmare USA, which is very huge, very in-depth. Talk about, exploitation cinema and all that, these kind of, horror films and whatnot. So he's very fun to listen to. Like I said, he is so knowledgeable and goes so deep into so many different genres. I've seen him on Severin films. A lot of Italian cannibal films. He's on some of the, I think, Black Emmanuel disc. You can find him anywhere. He's all over the place, but he's just a fountain of film knowledge, and he's great and interesting to listen to. Audio interview with co-writer Daria Price, conducted by Extras producer Ewan Kent. The Nesting Outtakes, preserving Armand Weston's Gothic horror. And this is a really good mini documentary. It's only it's a featurette, actually. It's like 15 minutes long. Produced by the Vinegar Syndrome Film Archives. And it's basically just talking about all the, how they were able to get a hold of the negative and all the materials they have for this, the outtakes, the dailies, all the different trailers. They got a Spanish trailer, different language, TV spots, all these things. And they were able to just really preserve all of this stuff. And, a lot of this outtakes and the extra things are on here as features as well. Which is just, it's really interesting, and it gives you an idea of the care they put into preserving, every piece of film they can get, which is great. No matter how, minuscule or, mundane you may think it is, they know it's a piece of history and they want to preserve it as best they can. You have your US theatrical trailer, the Spanish theatrical trailer, TV spots, radio spots, alternate jump scare from the nesting cut, the nesting title sequence, archive image gallery, cuts and trims, unused dailies also we talked about a minute ago. So there's a lot of good extra special features on here. And it's a very loaded and fun disc, and it's a good watch. I really enjoyed it. It looks good, sounds good. It's an entertaining movie. I would, recommend checking it out. It may not be your cup of tea. I don't know if it's anywhere streaming. You can check it out first. If it's possible, do so. I think you'll enjoy it, especially if you like a good slow burn kind of haunted house film with some boobs thrown in for good measure. So that is it for this one. If you enjoyed this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you've seen the nesting or saw this phobia or any memories whatsoever, or just say hi. I'll always take hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.